Hey everyone, welcome to the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate, brought to you by drroto.com. Get your daily prescription of fantasy sports. I am Sam Holt, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Derek Tate. Derek, how are you this Thursday night? We're both very excited for football. We're so excited, we cannot wait for the games to be closer, so we decided to just jump on Thursday.
Jump on Thursday. You have your drink of choice, which is, I believe, a kombucha with alcohol in it. I'm
It's a hard
drinking,
kombucha.
my apologies, that's what you all call it. I want to appropriately give it its name. I, on the other hand, am drinking Natural Light, also known as Natty Light, and it's not even the actual, top shelf stuff. I'm drinking probably what they like. I don't know. It was like a failed experiment called Natter Days, which is like a strawberry lemonade version of Natural Light. So, and that's what happens when your Tampa Bay Buccaneers get upset at home in the divisional round. The defending Super Bowl champions have been knocked off. We got a lot to talk about,
We have
but
so
I
much to
am
talk
very
about.
excited to talk with you as always. Let's do this.
Cheers to your natter day. I'm sure you had to pick that up next to the tab in the liquor store aisle. So
Don't you talk down to me. Like, I know I'm just your everyday Natural Light peasant, but stop with your little higher hard kombuki. So enjoy your drink. Let's talk
thank you.
football.
Our good friend John Danger Cole is tuning in. He's saying he ran out of the beer. Did he leave any with you, Tate?
I drank it all. I'm sorry. Thank
Sorry.
you, Danger.
I'm not sorry. I'm also doing a terrible job of making sure that have our brand up here. But hey, this is our show. Like,
Our
okay,
show. It's our show. We're allowed
it's our
to
show.
drink, talk, whatever we want, right? That's how it
Yeah.
works.
We can do whatever we want. We can have as much fun as we want, and we can break down these games. I know that you're still feeling the hurt of the Bucks, and we're gonna talk about the Rams and the upcoming Niners game. And so we'll get to that. Do you want to just dive into it now? I feel like you're surly. You're ready to go. Let's talk about how Brady was able to bring it back, which he always is, and I don't think anyone's surprised by him making the comeback that he did. But I think everyone was just scratching their heads and upset and annoyed, at least for me, watching the Rams almost give this away based on just mistake after mistake.
So it's almost as if people forget how to play football at a high level, at a professional level, when they're playing against Tom Brady in the playoffs, right? It seems like that shit happens way more than it should. Kyle Senra, hi, Sam and Tate. We can get into this debate. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
So, talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got punched in the mouth from the opening kick. I mean,
Yep.
the Rams dominated in every single facet of the football game. Matthew Stafford looked great. Cooper Kupp was doing his thing. The
Firing
offensive
all
line,
cylinders, ready to go.
I thought the offensive line without Andrew Whitworth did a good job protecting Matthew Stafford. And then the Bucs offense, they have not looked the same since they lost Chris Godwin. To be 100% honest, they didn't have Tristan Wirfs. But weird things happen when people get out to a 24-point lead against Tom Brady in the playoffs. You see a snap go a mile over Matthew Stafford's head. Cam Akers could not hold on to the football for his life. And then also, only the Triple Crown winner at the wide receiver position coughed it up as well to give the Bucs chance after chance after chance after chance. And of course, Brady brought it back. You felt the energy in Raymond James Stadium. You felt like, okay, Brady's going to steal this one, and we're going to end up going to the Super Bowl again. And then with a tie ball game coming all the way back from 27-3, the Bucs dial a zero blitz and leave Cooper Kupp one-on-one with a safety. What happened? What did I miss? My voice cracked. I love Antoine Winfield Jr. He hit Tyreek Hill with the peace sign. I'm always going to love him for that. But he has no business checking Cooper Kupp one-on-one in that situation. And you know what? I got to tip my hat to Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, who had a grand total of one playoff win heading into the defending Super Bowl champions' house, going up against Tom Brady, who had 35 career postseason wins. Matthew Stafford had the opportunity to go ahead and kind of get the monkey off his back with a significant playoff win, and he did it. he came through when his team was collapsing and when it seemed like they were going to choke this one away, though it wasn't really going to be Matthew Stafford's fault.
Mm-hmm.
He came up with the throw of the game to get him in field goal range and to win that game. As much as it breaks my heart that my team's out of it, and I don't know what the future of the organization and Tom Brady is at this moment, I got to tip my hat and give nothing but respect and props and flowers to Matthew Stafford as they move on to the NFC Championship game.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an insane game. I mean, obviously Matthew Stafford ended up getting it done, did what he needed to do. But I can't skip all of the mistakes that happened to allow for the Bucs to come back. That if they were being consistent, which they had the game before, they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have allowed Brady to be able to make the comeback. 100%. And that's the thing that's going to be the big question mark for me going into this weekend, going up against the Niners, who have their number. They have the wins on the Rams this season. They know the magic formula to beat the Rams, and obviously it's to run up the middle and just absolutely just pummel them with this crazy run game that they have. However, can the Rams hold them off? Because we know, all of us know, and it's in the media so much, we all know that Jimmy Garoppolo, when comparing Jimmy Garoppolo to Matt Stafford in terms of a caliber quarterback that makes sense being there with what he has, Stafford is far and away an elite veteran quarterback that knows what he's doing, has all the weapons, the big arm, can do that, make the big plays. Meanwhile, game manager Jimmy Garoppolo is there because of everybody else, not because of himself.
Well, hold on. Whoa,
too
whoa.
much, too fiery.
Whoa, you went. I'm just saying you went.
Did I drink this too fast?
I think calm down on the hard kabuki. I mean, so look, Kyle Senra, he's a Packers fan, right? So he's saying he feels in the divisional disappointment, right?
Yes.
Get you. McVay, we're going to talk a little bit more of that moving forward. So when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo, though, right? Yeah, he doesn't look like himself. We know he's dealing with a thumb injury on his throwing hand. Yet, the guy that they drafted number 3 overall, Trey Lance, clearly isn't ready to go yet.
Yeah.
So Jimmy G's the best chance they got to win a Super Bowl. That's how they feel right now. That's how Kyle Shanahan feels. And yet, Alex Smith 2.0, you're probably right. But all that being said, when we're talking about looking forward to this matchup, this third matchup, by the way.
Yeah, third.
And we'll get back to the Niners and the Packers and stuff like that in a second. Deebo Samuel is really the guy that stands out to me as who has been the biggest difference maker in those two prior matchups.
100%.
Over, I think it's 130 total yards, and has found the end zone in both games. And he only since Jimmy G's having a little bit of trouble throwing, Deebo Samuel threw a touchdown pass in the Week 18 matchup. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how the Rams, and we'll get into our predictions here in a second, are going to try to game plan for Deebo, right? But clearly, the 49ers, though, they did succeed in spite of the lack of offense and Jimmy Garoppolo, because on Saturday, Aaron Rodgers scored 1 touchdown, generated 1 touchdown drive, 10 points at home. And we may have seen the last of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay after getting not only a field goal blocked at the end of the first half, but a punt blocked returned for a touchdown. And it's over. Is the Aaron Rodgers era over in Green Bay, Sam?
I believe it is. I mean, all signs are pointing to Rodgers going to the Broncos. And I mean, I know that's kind of old news at this point because we've been talking about it for a long time. I think preseason last year, you were the first one to tell me that you thought that was going to be the first move. And I was thinking, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what? Too soon? Like, whatever. No. Right now, everything is looking like all signs are pointing to that happening. I mean, they just hired the offensive coordinator of the Packers as the head coach for the Broncos, and they've signed all of their receivers to contracts that make perfect sense to align with bringing someone like Rodgers. Like, we have your offensive weapons. We are ready to go. We have a defense that's ready. We have all the pieces. We're only missing you, bud. Like, they're set up to bring Aaron Rodgers. Aside from the Broncos, in that situation, just looking at how Rodgers handled himself as the leader of the Packers this past weekend, he's hung it up. He's done. Like, I do not see him coming back
To play football or just to Green Bay?
The Packers, in general. 100% he's done with the Packers. I don't know if he's retiring. I feel like all of this conversation of retirement talk this week has me exhausted and feeling old and tired. I mean, I feel like there's been retirement speculation on literally almost the main, so many quarterbacks this entire week. Like, are they retiring? Are they retiring? I'm like, I know that Ben put in his slip. Like, he's officially retired. I do know that. But it's like, is Brady going to retire? Is Rodgers going to retire? Everyone's going to retire? It's like,
are you going to retire?
No.
Is this your last show? I can't handle that right now.
I would never do it.
All right. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
We're not going that. I'm just saying, like, it's just this crazy word that I keep hearing back and forth of everywhere. Sean Payton is like moved on as a head coach. Everyone's like, are you retired? And he's like, no, I'm not retired, but maybe I'm going to come back, but I don't know. So we're in a week of maybes, and it's annoying.
Can you go out with a bigger bang if you are going to retire on the air than hard kombucha? Hard kombucha or whatever it is. Yeah, sorry.
I'm sure I could do like one of those like flaming shots of like grappa or something, and that would be probably more intense.
Wait, I've never heard of that, but I mean, what do you guys do over there on the West Coast?
We drink everything.
Do we even drink different? It's like, we can't even connect with that right now. Our takes are a little bit aligned, I suppose. But anyway, so looking forward now, though, right? I personally think Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay. You got to think, it's a disappointment that he only has one Super Bowl. Hard to fathom. Him and Brett Favre, like 30 years of pretty much combined greatness, and 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back are going to generate a total of 2 Lombardi trophies. That's nuts. But looking forward to this third matchup, I got to think that the matchup in particular with Shanahan and McVay, it's more so the personnel that scares me for the Rams, because the 49ers are a physical football team. And they can rough you up. They have a physical running game with basically a 2-headed monster in Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel. Flip the coin, and the Niners can get after you without having to basically bring blitzes all the time. So it can allow them to basically align more resources to try to slow down Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. and stuff of that nature. Now, I still expect the Rams to put up points, but that being said, the Niners are a bad matchup for the Rams. I think, though, that the Rams are the more talented football team.
Yeah.
And similar to what happened last year with the Saints beating the Bucs twice in the regular season, I still thought the Bucs were the better football team.
Yeah.
And I think that Stafford, with knowing that this is going to define his legacy, right? He can all of a sudden, if you add a Super Bowl to Matthew Stafford's resume, he starts to flirt with like Hall of Fame consideration. I'm not saying
absolutely.
He would be a bona fide Hall of Famer, but he certainly would at least warrant some consideration being drafted number 1 overall and having the career that he's had. So I just think with the chips on the table, I think that there's more playmakers and a quarterback I can trust more, even more so than Jimmy G, who's been gutting it out. I think that Stafford taking that victory from the jaws of defeat in the midst of a collapse against that quarterback and Tom Brady, I just think that this is the Rams' opportunity to basically validate the organization's decision to push their chips to the center and go all in 2021.
Definitely. And I think that the energy that the Rams have as well, just in terms of everyone feels like everyone's on the same page. All the connections are being made. Odell Beckham is smiling again. Like, he's like a happy player again with this team. Obviously they're winning, and so he's happy, but not only that, but he's being used and stepping up where he needs to step up to get open, to make plays. And he's doing more things to help alleviate some of the pressure that's on Cooper Kupp, which, I mean, just talking about Cooper Kupp, and obviously I love that you bring up just the crazy weapon that Deebo Samuel is and the fact that he can throw the ball if Jimmy's not going to throw it in a play or two. You know, he's crazy in the run game, crazy in the pass game. He's just everywhere. But just the insane stats that Cooper Kupp has put up this season, the season that he has put forth on the level of player that he is and that he's at right now, there's just no stopping this man. There's absolutely no stopping him. And I don't think that the Niners are going to be able to stop Cooper Kupp the entire every 4 quarters. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I think maybe they get lucky in the first quarter, maybe in the second, but by the end of the game, Cooper Kupp's going to have at least 1 touchdown and have at least 7 catches minimum. Talking bare minimum on the entire game. Like, he's going to be able to make changes and be very effective. And what I love looking at the offense when you compare the Rams to the Niners just right across the board, and you look at the way that Stafford utilizes all of his offensive weapons, I think that that's going to be one of the things that helps put them over the edge, as opposed to having to rely on Deebo, sometimes George Kittle, and Elijah Mitchell. I think that using the full breadth of players that they have at their disposal and the way that Stafford uses all of them, I think that's going to help give them the edge to, get that win, to stay ahead, and to hold off the Niners.
Well, not to mention, I think that right now you don't have a quarterback that can really attack you on all 3 levels of the field if you're the 49ers. Like, I don't think that Garoppolo's thumb is anywhere near where it should be, but he's still able to manage it. Again, kind of a game manager. It's not like, I didn't mean to correlate or parallel there, but that's exactly what they're kind of wanting him to do. And that's all he's really capable of doing right now, which is what should be the most interesting part about how the 49ers are going to attack the Rams defense, because I don't think that they're going to dial up a lot of trying to get the ball down the field, because Garoppolo really doesn't have the capabilities to do that right now, I think. So you're going to see a lot of ball getting out of his hands pretty quickly. A lot of like in-breaking routes, short to intermediate routes that should just get the ball in Kittle and Deebo's hands. The thing is, are the Niners going to be able to do that all game? Like, I don't know if I can say that definitively. I just think that the Rams have more ways to beat you. And I mean, they had a 17-0 lead in week 18. Like, that didn't just happen for no reason. And they coughed it up, of course. But I actually think Tyler Higbee has a big game again. Actually found 2 touchdowns in week 18's matchup. So I think he plays a role again.
I think he's going to have to, again, in order to not just keep the pace up, but because the Niners are going to their defense is going to have to step up to cover Kupp, to cover the run game, to try and, shut things down. Players like Higbee, Van Jefferson even are going to have to step up so that Stafford has an outlet, and because he's going to have to get rid of the ball quickly at times. And someone that he does that a lot with is Tyler Higbee. So I do like that a lot. In terms of the Niners defense and what they're going to have to do, like, they're going to have to be so consistent every quarter. And I agree with you. I don't think that they're going to be able to keep that up. I feel like the Rams defense, I feel like Aaron Donald is just going to have the game of his life, and Von Miller is going to have to be very, very consistent. He's not going to be able to rely on showing up in the fourth quarter only. He's going to have to be there every single play, every single down, in order to make sure that they don't take their foot off the gas.
I'm going Rams 24-20. That's where I'm going.
Ooh, okay.
Close, still a close game, but yeah.
I think I'll go, especially because they had such a close game with the Packers this past weekend, but they're in SoFi. The weather's going to be gorgeous. So I feel like maybe I'll just go slightly over, but I'm going to keep a similar point differential to you. So I think I'm going to go 27. I'm going to do something weird. I'm going to go 27-25. I'm going to throw a weird number in there just because I feel like this is going to be a game where there's going to be something weird that happens, and that's going to end up with an odd number. I feel like I feel something weird's going to happen, whether it be a safety, whether it be just something that doesn't make sense. Like, I feel like there's going to be a thing. There's going to be a thing in this one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll go with 27-25 on that one, but I'm also going to be picking the Rams, and you're picking the Rams to win too.
Yep.
All right. Let's lock that one away. Let's move on to the next one, which I think is a very high-powered game that I'm taking the over in. Like, if I had to pick a game I was going to take the over in last week, it was going to be Bills Chiefs, and you wouldn't have been wrong if you picked it. This one, I think, is definitely, I'm going to be betting the over. The line is Kansas City -7 for this one. Chiefs, Bengals. I'm super excited about this game and watching these two quarterbacks duke it out. And at this level, I'm just excited. Like, just as a fan of the game, I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this game.
You know, we talked about breakout quarterbacks and breakout players, really, but
Yeah.
Burrow was my guy. Like, I really believed in him, even coming off of the devastating knee injury, that he was going to take the next step.
Yeah.
And, fantasy, he certainly had his moments. He was great in the playoffs, fantasy playoffs anyway. But, Joe Burrow, when I've seen him on the national stage where he's getting a little bit more love. And, when you make it to the AFC Championship game, you got all eyes on you. And his progression as a quarterback at this stage of his career is impressive. You watch his footwork, how poised he is, and how accurate he is. I mean, the man is a gardener. He's throwing seeds out on the football field. It's great. And Jamar Chase is that connection. They're kindred spirits, Sam. It's almost like you can't guard Jamar Chase because no matter what leverage you have on him, Joe Burrow has a counterpunch with his accuracy. It's like there's no defense for the perfect pass, and Burrow can put the ball wherever he wants. Now, granted, if they double and triple cover him, sometimes in certain concepts and certain leverages, you're not going to be able to do that. But within reason, if they go single up, the Kansas City Chiefs, if they decide to go ahead and try to man him up again, I think you're going to see a similar stat line from Jamar Chase than what we saw just 4 or 5 weeks ago. 11 receptions, 266 for 3 touchdowns. Like, I'm telling you, do not give single coverage with no help against Jamar Chase. That's a death sentence.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more with you there on that fact that it's a death sentence to leave him on single coverage. And I think that Chiefs, if we see that coming out the gate, the first quarter, you might as well just sign it over because you cannot leave that man open single coverage the entire game. That would be insane. So out the gate, I could not imagine them doing that. But the counterpoint to that is if they do double cover Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is right there. Tyler Boyd is right there. And the connections and accuracy that Burrow has with Chase, though it's an amazing connection and I want to see that buddy cop movie, I'm definitely down. Like, he's just as good with his other receivers as well. He makes CJ Uzoma look like a top 5 tight end. And the fact that he can see him in the red zone and get him connected and get him integrated into that offense right away. He's like, I love that you say he's a gardener. He's just peppering seeds all over the field and they're going exactly where they need to go. It's ridiculous. And so if they're able to cover Chase as opposed to, when I'm looking at the wide receivers for the Chiefs, I love T. Higgins in this game. I love Tyler Boyd in this game. There's a litany of other players that I feel like that can all be utilized and that Burrow will utilize. More importantly, he's going to use everybody.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, when we're looking at, there's no doubt that Burrow is going to keep on fighting. He's going to keep on pushing. He's going to keep on.
He proved that after getting sacked 9 times, standing up like it didn't mean anything.
You beat me to it. I mean, he
Swagger.
was pummeled. He was steamrolled. 9 times he got sacked, and yet he was still incredibly productive. It didn't rattle him.
No.
I mean, he kind of lives up to that mantra of Joe Cool. He's unflappable. But Sam, they beat the Tennessee Titans, right? So you went into Tennessee, you beat up on Ryan Tannehill and a Derrick Henry that's not really 100%. You beat Derek Carr in the nice story Las Vegas Raiders, who shouldn't be there in the first place.
Sure.
But they were. They earned their spot in the playoffs, and, Burrow handled business. But Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the AFC Championship game, is it a fourth straight season? This is a different animal. And, I don't want to look to the past too much, but we have to have a moment of silence for Buffalo Bills fans who are still devastated
So bad.
from a virtually perfect Superman heroic performance that we got from Josh Allen, and literally Patrick Mahomes was his kryptonite.
Yeah.
Because he was equally perfect and just that much better.
Yeah.
And even if you count that much as just where you could place the coin that they flipped for it to land on heads, because they won the coin toss and never saw the football again. Patrick Mahomes feels to me, and we're witnessing it, like the Michael Jordan of his sport. This dude, it's not like he's been in the league for 10 years and everybody's scared of him. He's 25.
Yeah.
And people can't beat him. 13 seconds left on the clock, Sam. That's how long it takes me to run a 40-yard dash nowadays. That's how long it took them to get in a field goal range to save their season. Like, I'm just saying, like, I love Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not trying to, crown him anything like the GOAT or anything crazy like that. But you gotta just admire what he accomplished. And really, you also have to tip the hat and give the flowers to Josh Allen. That was an amazing game. 2 superhuman performances. Neither one deserved to lose. But you got to recognize that Patrick Mahomes keeps finding a way to win in the postseason.
He does keep finding a way to win in the postseason. He's going to keep going to his magic bag of tricks to get this done. And, I think that's something that they both have in spades when you look at these two quarterbacks, and that's a cool under pressure. And I think that is what sets these quarterbacks apart, sets Josh Allen apart as well. He, like you said, played damn near perfect game. Damn near perfect.
He was. He still
was
lost.
Perfect. The only thing that makes that game not perfect for him is that they lost. That is the only thing.
He called tails.
Yeah, that he called tails. That's the only thing. Like, crying out loud. But when you're looking at when you're looking at Burrow and you're looking at Mahomes, they both have this they both have this, what feels like age-old wisdom at their young ages right now that makes it very exciting to think of having these quarterbacks for the next 10 years, and we get to be going back and forth on them in these scenarios, this is literally the beginning of what's going to feel like a very long saga of going back and forth with these quarterbacks. And it's awesome to watch them change the game that they're doing. Both of them have crazy accuracy, can make passes that don't make sense in a video game sense of like, I don't know who put a cheat code in here, and you're able to be completely flat and making a pass and across your body. Like, they're doing insane things. They're able to scramble, they're able to run. They're both able to do a lot of brilliant things, and it's fun to watch. But I'm going to bring it back a couple weeks, and just going to bring it back to the game that the Bengals played the Chiefs and beat them 34-31 not too long ago. This wasn't like week 2 win. We only just saw it a couple weeks ago that this happened. And when you look at the firepower that Burrow has right now, and his swagger is on another level, I think he's just going to have a slight edge. I think he's got that, there is no tomorrow for me. Like, I'm laying it all on the table. I'm doing this for the city. I'm doing this for the team. Like, we are a new era. You have to face us now. Like, you guys have had this for a long time. You've been here. Cool. We're here now. And I think he's going to come with this new level of swagger that's just going to put on the same level of stats that he did in that game. He had 4 touchdowns and over 400 passing yards in that game. Mahomes had just 259 passing yards in that game. 2 touchdowns. They were able to get in their heads. And I think because a lot of people don't feel like they belong there just for the name's sake. I think they're going to use that to their advantage. And I think they're going to be able to just slightly get under their skin enough to take the lead and hold on to it.
Wow. So you're calling an upset. You're
calling the upset. I'm saying Bengals are going to take
okay.
this. I think that it's going to happen.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I respect that.
And divisionally doesn't make sense that I'm doing this, but I think that we're about to see something pretty crazy this weekend.
So while I respect, what's your score prediction?
Okay. I mean, I think that this one's
Take
definitely
another sip of the. You must be you. Did you just?
This
decide
is a tall one. This is a tall one.
No, I know, but I'm saying, did you just decide the Bengals upset in the midst of having a couple sips of the hard kombucha?
No,
I
got that confidence before we started drinking. I knew what I was gonna do.
Okay.
But when it comes to the final score, I think I'm gonna go with 41-39. I think this is going to be a really high-scoring affair. I think there's going to be last-minute. Mahomes tries to bring it back, but I think that the Bengals are just going to edge him out. I think they're going to be able to. I think they're going to be able to make the upset, and there's going to be a lot of sad people there in Arrowhead.
Wow. Okay, so not only 1 2-point victory, but 2 2-point victories on championship weekend. Okay. So, as much as Joe Burrow is a bad man, he really is, and
he's a bad man.
I believe that Joe Burrow and the Bengals are a year ahead of schedule. I think that they have surprised a lot of folks, and yes, Kyle Senra's hit the nail on the head. Both of Sam's score predictions had a 2-point difference. That is correct.
I'm hedging my bets on both really good games. That's what I'm doing. I want no blowouts this weekend. I just want it to be good games.
Well, I mean, yeah, when you look at it from last weekend, where all four were right down to the wire.
Right there.
Great weekend of football. This one is the one, unfortunately, that I believe could get out of hand.
Okay.
While I really believe the Bengals and Joe Burrow have something in there, they are a threat to the Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes in particular, because Joe Burrow ain't scared. He's not scared of anybody.
Nope.
He's already sick of being called an underdog. He's like, I'm sick of hearing this crap. We're winning football games. Why are we still the underdog? Well, I hate that narrative. Like, he's got the right mindset, and he backs it up with his play, and that combination between him and Jamar Chase is a real one. I still believe it's a whole different, but they were down 14-0 in that game, Sam. And then there were, like you said, the Chiefs scored 28 points in the first half. They did slow down, and the Bengals had some success slowing down Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to discredit them or overlook that.
Yeah.
But going into Arrowhead and beating Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, there's been one guy that's done it so far, Tom Brady. And even that had to go to overtime, and Brady won the coin flip, and Mahomes never saw the football. So while I think Joe Burrow is going to show up and he will have his moments, I do think the Chiefs offense, they're on a mission to avenge last year's Super Bowl embarrassment. I have it Chiefs 41-27.
Wow. Okay, so we both have 41, but you are putting quite the deficit on the Bengals.
I just don't think the Bengals have it yet. Not there. They're 1 year away. I think you're going to have trouble protecting Patrick or Joe Burrow. I mean,
they had trouble protecting him this past weekend. We saw that.
Yeah, but how many points did they score? How many points did they score?
Yes, but I'm just saying.
You're going to have to score more than that to beat Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead.
I agree, and I think that I don't see Joe Burrow getting sacked 9 times by this defense. I don't think that they have enough gas in the tank to do that every single quarter. I think they can maybe do it the first half, maybe the first quarter, maybe in the third quarter they really get under his skin. But I don't think that defense can do it every single quarter of this game.
No, they won't, and that's why Burrow will put up 27. I just think that
Mahomes is going to sneeze and score a touchdown. I guess.
What are the Bengals going to do to slow down Mahomes?
try really hard.
I think that if they're going to have any chance, Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson are going to have to apply pressure, which is hard enough to do because Mahomes is healthy and is very athletic and extend plays. And then they're going to have to hold up on the back end. I mean, Hilton, Awuzie, Von Bell, like we're going to have to. I mean, I love Logan Wilson. I think he's one of the most underrated linebackers in the NFL. Very good in coverage. I just going to have to get to Mahomes. You're going to have to rattle him.
Yeah.
Hard to do at Arrowhead.
Definitely gonna be hard to do at Arrowhead. I just feel like there's been too many times this season where the Chiefs have fumbled, it's not even fumbled, they've just faltered. They haven't been like, yes, are they playing at a crazy good level right now? Yes, but they haven't done it all season. There are holes in their armor. I feel like the Bengals are gonna be able to find a way to get to those holes and to
No, it's so bold. I love it. I love it.
You're welcome.
Look, I would love to see Joe Burrow light up a stove after knocking off Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead Stadium. I would love that.
Yeah.
I'm picking with my head here, not with my heart. I'm pulling for Burrow, but I think Mahomes is going to take it.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun game no matter what. I'm hoping that it ends up being a closer one than what you're saying. 41-27 is very steep. I just want a big game, and I want to be able to see Joe Burrow stack up next to Mahomes, and I believe that he can, and go, down for down, and they're just going to be exchanging this back and forth.
I mean, I don't want to look too far ahead, but if Aaron Rodgers does end up in Denver, can you just look at the quarterbacks that are going to be in the AFC? I mean, we're not even talking about the AFC West. We're talking about the AFC in general. Holy goodness. I mean, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. Goodness grief. Could be fun.
That's going to be really, really fun to watch. And Herbert, another great young quarterback that I can't wait to see what he does with another year under his belt too. And obviously the entire AFC is going to be fun to watch. So anyways, love to see what these games are going to be like. You guys have heard our calls in terms of who we think is going to win. Both Tate and I feel like the Rams are going to be able to take it and bring the Super Bowl with them. Just stay home, be able to kick their feet up and just wait for the opposing team to come to them. Enjoy the Super Bowl at their home stadium. Meanwhile, I think that the Bengals are going to be upsetting the Chiefs, and Tate's going with Mahomes and his greatness to go on to another Super Bowl.
I know. You make me sound so boring and predictable. It's like, he's going with Mahomes. Shocker. Yeah.
Just throw a little pepper in it. Like, not even cayenne pepper. Just throw a little pepper. Throw a little zest.
All right. I'll throw a little pepper on it next time. My bad.
Next year for the next one. Year. Yeah, no, when we come back for the Super Bowl, I'm sure that whoever we end up getting, there will be some fiery takes no matter what. Maybe we're looking at the Niners against the Chiefs. Maybe we're looking at the Niners against the Bengals, or the Rams against the Chiefs. I have no idea which combination we're going to be getting, but I'm excited. I'm just excited to be here, and we're all excited to sit down and hopefully get another amazing weekend of football, because what we just had was legendary.
Set the bar pretty high.
It did.
I'll say that.
Anything less than amazing is going to be a disappointment. So that will be fun to look forward to.
We'll talk about our disappointment next week on the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe on the YouTube. We really appreciate it. And be sure to check out all the other content, seasonal and DFS tools, as well as premium access to our staff for all your fantasy sports questions in the members only Discord right here at drro.com. Have a wonderful weekend, guys, and enjoy some football. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you for joining. Until next time, everybody. Later, says Tater.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit,